Good morning, everybody, and almost actually afternoon here, Richmond Weaver at the Otis Nixon Charity Golf Classic, W.A.B Sports, Wayne Buckingham, and a very special guest, Mr. Dale Davis. And you guys know me as Richie. This Richmond, that's my professional stage name, right? When I'm around you guys, all I think about is back in the late 80s, and I get there in 1989, and I'm running around, little rugrat, trying to make the team. Cliff Ellis says, "Hey, Rich, I love your heart, man, but you're not good enough to be with these guys," right? But I get to stay on as manager, and you guys treated me like I was part of the team. And it's one of the things that I hold really near and dear to my heart, that I still consider myself part of that team. And you always embrace that, even though, a lot of times managers get, no pun intended, they just get thrown to the curb, so to speak, at times. But it's now, you fast forward, looking at your involvement in doing different types of things, giving back. And why is it so important for you, Dale, to come back to, in a charity event like this with Otis Nixon?
Well, I mean, anytime you're doing things for kids and the youth, and that's one of Otis's missions and goals, and myself and Wayne, and we all share the same interests in helping the underserved, helping kids, helping the youth, and in any way we can to be empowered. And it's always a pleasure just to participate and be a part of special events like this.
Yeah, I would agree as well, and it's great the turnout that they have, and that this thing can continue. Going back though, looking at, you were at Clemson, all ACC, and then you become an NBA All-Star, and just some of the teams that you were on with Indiana and Reggie Miller and all those. What are some of your fondest memories going back to Clemson and then into the NBA?
Well, one good thing from my standpoint, I was blessed enough to have great teammates. And as you mentioned,
that team in '89, that was one hell of a team.
We had a great team, and I was fortunate enough to have that closeness as a family. And like you mentioned, you didn't actually play, on the team, but you were a part of the team, and it was that family atmosphere. And I was blessed enough, moving on into my career, having great teammates on and off the court. And we did a lot of things together, and you spend a lot of time with those guys, so they become your family. You spend more time with your teammates than your immediate family.
That's right. At times you do.
And it was just a pleasure. It was fun. We always rolled up the sleeves and got there early, left late, and some great things happened for us. So all the accomplishments that we had at Clemson and moving on into the NBA, it was just a great opportunity to play with some of the best and great people you could ever meet.
And we're continuing right here on W.A.B Sports, Richmond Weaver, Richie Weaver, Dale
Richie
Davis, that's right. And obviously Big Buck over there. One of the questions I have, though, also, because I don't think I ever knew, why did you choose Clemson?
Well, so I'm from Decorah, so I was on the line between Clemson and grew up in Georgia Bulldog territory.
Yes.
And for me, I bought into what Coach Harris, Coach Ellis, the staff were basically saying about the opportunity, and just to play in the ACC in itself. I saw an opportunity that the direction that Clemson basketball was going, and wanted to be a part of that, and that's why I chose Clemson.
One of the games that I distinctly remember wasn't actually in the '89 season. I mean, you could obviously talk about the game beating Duke to clinch the ACC regular season title. I mean, Little John was electric that game, but it was actually the previous year, your senior year. We're playing Charlotte, and you dislocate your shoulder or it comes out of socket. Do you remember this? Okay. But you end up coming back into the game. And I remember when it happened, I knew it had to be painful because you were one of the toughest guys I'd ever been around. And you yelled out when that happened. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, Dale is hurt. But then you came back.
Right.
But I never knew what happened because I was still out there. So they just pop it back in, and you were like, "I'm going back in."
Yeah. So it popped out, of course, for dislocation, and Reno and the staff actually popped it back in, and they said it was pretty stable. It could pop back out, but the pain eased a little bit, and at the time, remember we had that long streak of winning at home.
Yes, we did. That's why that game is so memorable.
Yeah, and so I was like, well, I'm good to go. And I think we came up a little short.
That's right, unfortunately.
But yeah, I definitely remember that game. Remember the pain of that dislocation, and once it eased a little bit, I was good to go.
Did you have any other major injuries throughout your career?
Yeah, so actually, I ended up dislocating my other shoulder my first year in Indiana, and same type thing. I had that operated on, and actually had 2 shoulder surgeries. Had this right one done a couple of years later. So my first couple of years, I still dealt with those shoulder injuries and got them patched up and didn't have any problems since.
Yeah, well, nobody would really know because when I was watching you, you were still balling out there. As we're continuing with Dale Davis right here on W.A.B. Sports, Richmond Weaver here. And then so talk about that transition into the NBA though. Now you're one of the best players at your position, not only in the ACC, but in the nation. And now that next jump to the NBA where it's a dogfight each and every night against other very talented guys. I mean, I saw Charles Oakley out here a little while ago, and obviously the battles that they're in the Eastern Conference there with not only the Knicks and the Bulls, but
absolutely.
How difficult was that transition for you, or what was that transition like?
Well, it was interesting, and I say interesting in the simple fact because when I came in the early '90s into the league, I had an opportunity to play against some of the guys I watched on TV. The Larry Birds, the Kevin McHale's, the old school guys. So I had an opportunity to actually play against the Moses Malones, guys that you idolized growing up. So when you at first your first initial reaction is like, wow. And
were you in awe at times? Like,
yeah,
I'm playing against these guys.
Yeah. It's like, but then at the same time, you have arrived, and once you get past that part, it's just going out there and competing, and from there you just compete. And so I had an opportunity to go against the old school guys and transition into this new era of basketball because I played, for such a long time.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, and but those battles, man, it was night in and night out. The game was a little different in a sense. The way we played, we played hardcore, both sides of the ball, physical, and you mentioned Oakley and those battles we had with Indiana and the Knicks and the Chicagos and the Pistons. So that was real hard fought basketball.
Was there a moment though when you first got in the NBA where were you nervous? Can I play at this level? Did you ever have those type of thoughts?
Well, I was always confident,
Yeah.
right? And so my first game, actually, so I ended up signing late with Indiana with some contract issues and stuff there. First play, I came in and um, made a hard foul. We were playing the Pistons, actually, made a hard foul, and the fans went crazy. So that first play, that gave me the pathway that I have arrived.
Yeah, well, and you became known as part of the duo, the Davis brothers, right? You know, with Antonio Davis as well. And
Absolutely.
you guys were the protectors there in Indiana. So did you take pride in that type of role that maybe not enforcer, but to a certain degree you were? I mean, you were the guy that would take on the physical, aspect of the game.
Well, the thing was, it was the intangibles that someone had to do. I mean, we had such great shooters and Reggie and guys like Chris Mullin and Smiths and so somebody had to do the dirty work.
And you didn't mind doing that?
Didn't mind doing it. I had my opportunities, of course, to score the ball at times, but I was the guy that the glue that held the team together and kind of helped build that identity and change for that franchise.
We're continuing here at W.A.B. Sports at the Otis Nixon Charity Golf Classic, sitting down with Dale Davis. And one of the games, I don't remember what year it was, but it was in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Indiana was playing the Knicks, and at the end of the game, you dunked on Patrick Ewing. I'm not sure if you remember this one, but it might have been like Game 6 or something, but somehow the Knicks end up winning that series. But how difficult was that, getting that close so many times and not being able to get a championship ring with Indiana, I should say?
It was tough, but it was something that we knew we were capable.
Yeah.
And after numerous game sevens, conference finals, we knew we would get our break. And I remember one time against the Knicks, we up in the series. I think it was 3-1, and that might have been the series. We were ready to win that series, and I think Larry Johnson hit some 4-point play, and so we've had the
Exactly.
things that happen, in the garden and in basketball, just unbelievable. But on the other side, we had some games where, remember, Reggie hit all those points.
I was going to ask you about that game.
Seconds.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you remember most about that game?
Anybody need lunch? Y'all good?
Believe it or not, we never doubted that we was going to win that game. Believe it or not, and we got down, and
Now,
that's
come on
just
now.
the way it was.
You actually thought you were going to win that game.
We did. We never thought, because we always fought to the end, and in those series, all kind of things just happen. I mean, the 4-point plays, the tap in dunk, and you get a three for that, Patrick, and but those were just hardcore series and just unbelievable games.
What was it like going against Michael Jordan?
So Mike was of course a special talent, and I remember the first time that I played against him, it was like he was running at a pace faster than everybody else. It was like, man, this guy's fast, right? And from there, but Mike is always a competitor and brings out the best in everyone.
From your perspective, then, who is the GOAT?
So I would say,
Like you mentioned, you've been able to cross over into that old school and into some of the newer basketball?
Absolutely. So the best player I've seen play, I would say Michael Jordan. I think if you look at the history of basketball, you have some great players. What LeBron has done has been just like crazy. Kobe and those guys, Kareem back in the day. But another guy that a lot of folks don't talk about is Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, of course.
You have to put Wilt in the class by himself, right?
Yes, without a doubt.
What he's done is so overall, the guy I played against, I said the best is Mike, but the guy that stands alone by himself to me is Wilt Chamberlain.
It's unprecedented, the numbers that he put up. It's unreal when you think about it. When you really boil down looking at the statistics, I mean, there's things that just nobody's going to be able to do again from that perspective. How was it then also being able to see one of your former teammates when you and Eldon Campbell got to be in the NBA together?
That was always fun. Usually the day before games, we'll meet up and have a bite and talk and chat, and that was always good going up against all the ex-Clemson guys and guys that you know.
And Sharon, right, for a period of time.
Sharon and Chris and Def before Shorston.
Yes.
So that was always fun, man, to be able to compete with those guys, and we always have fun and joke around, during the games at times, but that was always good.
All right. Dale Davis, thank you so much. We're going to take a little break right here on W.A.B. Sports. We'll be back right after this.
Nixon found incredible success in Major League Baseball. He holds records for stolen bases in a single game, as well as a single season for the Atlanta Braves. He played in numerous World Series games and has the record for most career stolen bases from a non-All-Star player with 620. But as high as Otis soared on the field, his personal life hit many lows. Otis has turned these lows into his personal testimony to share with others. Through his Otis Nixon Foundation, he is providing mentoring through various outreach programs. He is also happy to come to your church to share his past and hopefully show others just because you fall down doesn't mean you can't get up. Jesus loves us all, even in our darkest moments. If you would like to help Otis spread his message, please visit his website, www.otisnixon1foundation.org. That's www.otisnixon1foundation.
All right, back here, W.A.B. Sports at the Otis Nixon Charity Golf Classic. Richmond Weaver sitting beside Dale Davis. Everybody knows him if you're a Clemson fan. Obviously, all ACC and NBA All-Star for a long time. How was it? 17 years you played?
16.
16. Okay. 16 years in the NBA. Everybody, that is a long career in the NBA. There is no question about that. And so, as we're wrapping up here, Dale, just one of the things that I also just curious about, just in terms of, we see what sports can do in terms of bringing people together and these charity foundations and things of that nature. But from your perspective, how important has sports been in your life and the impact that it's made just in who you are? And I'm not talking about just from a financial standpoint, your playing career, your job, so to speak, but just in sports overall, how it's impacted your life and what it's meant to you.
Well, it's meant a lot. I mean, it's huge. It's been kind of the foundation and backbone to create other opportunities. And sports is one of those things that heals a lot during tough times. And so for me, I was able to use the sports to create other platforms to make change, and so really got heavily involved into youth programs, technology, and so got some stuff that's coming to market here pretty soon, and the sports foundation was the backbone for it.
I love it. We're excited for all of that. And again, Dale Davis, thank you so much for joining us right here, W.A.B. Sports at the Otis Nixon Charity Golf Classic, and we'll be back right after this with some more celebrity guests.
Right? That's what I need to get for this.
Have seemingly disappeared, Coach Wayne Buckingham started W.A.B. Sports. His focus is on mentoring our younger generation and teaching valuable life skills that go way beyond the field of play. Whether it's football or basketball, he has a specialized sports camp designed to address the challenges the youth of today face daily. He believes it's all about teaching healthy habits now in order for those lessons to be applied to their future decisions. W.A.B. Sports raises the money for these camps with various charity golf tournaments yearly. W.A.B. Sports also offers scholarships so that these young men and women have a greater chance at success in their life after sports. Coach Wayne truly believes the best thing in life is making a positive difference. W.A.B. Sports depends solely on donation. If you feel led to donate, contact Coach Wayne Buckingham at WABsports4@gmail.com. That's WABsports4@gmail.com.
Head over here.